if you want to be a clear face, clear skins, or if your wife want to be, then select raw foods. Slow aging. You will not much age even. I am 48 now. You see? Emotional balance. This is another good thing. The balance emotions in your office, daily lives, hectic lives, you can balance. Now there is some risk also. We can avoid this risk. Consume the following foods with cautions. Buckwheat and kidney beans, which contains toxic chemicals, phythomoglobin. So whenever we go for or selecting this type of items, be careful from raw foods. Cassava, pea seeds, apricot kernels, and parsnips, they may contain toxins. I think we are eating or not eating. But while going for this type of items, be careful. Raw milk, meat, eggs. It may contain harmful bacteria, parasites, and virus. We all know the country fields where from the milk is getting, maybe virus resistance, bacteria. So milk always you have to think of. These are all the goods and plus points. Should I or we try raw food diet?
No. If you want to be like you, maybe you should try.
You don't want to be like me.
Always focus the positive. Ignore the negatives and start your day. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivek, for your wonderful speech and some information about health. Now we are going back to the theme of the meeting, brain damaging habits. The third habit, high sugar consumption. High sugar consumption, it can overload and damage your liver. It tricks your body into gaining weight. It increases your uric acid level. The fourth habit, more sleeping, especially in the morning. If you are sleeping, especially in the morning more, it put on weight. If your body is not given chance to burn it off, it is forced to be stored as a fat. Especially if you have a big meal late in evening. The second, headache. It is a really common. Late sleep can also be a factor of headache. The third one, back pain. Laying in bed for too long will eventually lead to back pain. The fourth one, heart diseases. Research shows a link between people who sleep 9 to 11 hours per night and 38% increased chance of coronary heart disease. Now we are going back to speech evaluation. The speech evaluation timing 2 to 3 minutes. The first speech, Toastmaster Rashid, evaluated Toastmaster Dinesh Kumar. I will invite Dinesh Kumar for the evaluation.
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
I am here to evaluate Toastmaster Rashid's speech number 5. What is the title of this speech?
Travel.
Travel. he achieved the objective exactly as required by the manual. He made the movements, he has shown the gestures in a controlled way, eye contacts, eye movements, facial expressions, exclamations, hesitations, everything flown one by one through his face, and that cemented the idea which he was about to communicate to us. Only thing I missed was presence of my wife when he said that it is not the cost of the travel which we require or cost of the services we require, it is the traditions and local specialty which need to be attended. Normally my wife especially, we are especially, we go for costliest thing and think that that is the best thing. We go to Munnar and stay there in a very posh hotel, 5-star hotel, rather than going to a hut and seeing the chirping of the birds around, seeing the biological versatilities of that area. He was advocating very well for the travel. He was advocating how we should go for travel, with what kind of mindset we should have, etc., etc. Everything was properly arranged. Then, when he said about dolphins in which place? Yeah, Philippines. Really, it was as simple as we are seeing it. By saying this, it is not that there is no room for improvement. Only one thing I could notice is his left hand was kept stationary while right hand was so it could have been avoided. We are eagerly waiting for your future speeches. All the best.
Thank you, Toastmasters Kumar, for your evaluation. The next is Toastmaster Arun Kumar evaluated Toastmaster Regine Muhammad. I invite Regine Muhammad for evaluation.
Good evening once again.
Good evening.
Particularly to Toastmaster Arun. Today I will discuss again the purpose of Toastmaster Arun's speech and present to you what I felt are the strong points, and I will cover a couple of suggestions for growth and close with a brief summary. So the purpose of Toastmasters Arun's speech was to prepare and talk on a controversial subject that persuades an audience to accept or at least consider your viewpoint. And the second objective is to construct a speech to appeal to the audience's logic and emotions. Now, whenever we talk about persuasive speeches, we can't start without thanking Aristotle. Over 2,300 years ago, it was Aristotle who was the first to describe the three modes of persuasion. One is ethos, which is appealing to authority or your credibility. Second is logos, appealing to logic. Third is pathos, appealing to emotions. You have actually successfully touched upon all these areas, ethos, logos and pathos. I would like to request you to give a round of applause. Now, I will limit my evaluation from Aristotle's perspective. First is pathos. You've actually made a personalized story and which actually conveyed a very deep and genuine emotional connection to the subject of the speech to the audience. So this is a very good outcome. Second is you have used good use of prop in the form of a glass of milk, which actually grabbed the attention of the audience and it started to give a hint on what is the subject they are actually trying to bring to that. Next is you used good visual aids to convey the issues associated with the consumption of milk. Now the other areas where I'd like to suggest is use of logos. So when you have an audience who is a little bit skeptical to the idea that you are trying to convey, you have to use logos approach, which is nothing but using a lot of statistics. The other thing is during your speech, you also have to build ethos, which is credibility of the data that you are presenting, which is about quoting some references like WHO, which stated in the year so and so. And the other suggestion, the last suggestion that I would like to make is, usually in a persuasion speech, the speaker will first try to say what is the problem and then bring what is the solution. I think it took a little bit of while to convey what is the problem to the audience. So if you can work on that, that will be nice. Overall, that was a very good persuasion speech, and thank you very much for your effort in persuading us, and we look forward for more speeches. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajul Muhammad, for your evaluation. I'm going to the theme of the meeting. The brain damaging habits. The fifth habit, eating meals while watching TV or computer. Firstly, you tend to eat more. If you eat in front of TV, you have more than what you eat in regular meals. Also, you might choose the quantity over quality. Second, you might not feel satisfied. When you sit in front of TV and eat, your mind is focused on watching TV. It's blocked the feeling of satisfaction, and even though might have eaten a lot. The third point, some studies indicate that the habit or routine of eating in front of your computer or TV causes major infection, allergies and diseases. Always eat in the kitchen or have your dinner with your partner, not with your television. We are going back to the evaluation. The next evaluation for Toastmaster Vivek Ayappan, evaluated by Toastmaster Mallikarjun. I invite our area director, Toastmaster Mallikarjun, for evaluation.
Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Warm good evening once again to all of you.
Good evening.
And in particular to Toastmaster Vivek Ayappan. It gives me immense pleasure to congratulate Toastmaster Vivek Ayappan, having met the objectives of his advanced speech number 2, to present the ideas in a clear and interesting manner. Basically, the idea was very relevant. The last slide is focus on the positives and ignore negatives. You started in a very good manner by presenting with the props and explain the benefits as well as the risk of the concept, basically raw foods. The analysis was done in a good manner, having explained the different benefits as well as risks. What I would have expected you to it's one of the opinions of me that the end was a little abrupt. You could have concluded in a much better way, and also explain about the risk a little detailed, the way benefits were explained, so that it could reach to the audience. And in the end, I would only like to congratulate you and hope to listen few more of your speeches in the near future.
Thank you, Area Director Mallikarjun, for the evaluation speech. Now we are going the timer report for the speeches and the evaluation. Toastmaster Naufal, can you explain the timing?
Good evening all of you once again.
Good evening.
The prepared speech Toastmaster Rashid taken the time 6 minutes 28 seconds. And another speech Toastmaster Arun Kumar taken 9 minutes 46 seconds. And Toastmaster Vivek Ayyappan take 8 minutes 19 seconds. And the evaluation is Toastmaster Dinesh Kumar taken 2 minutes 35 seconds. And another evaluator Regin, he taken 3 minutes 17 seconds. And Mallikarjun 1 minute 37 seconds. I think except 2 of them are qualified for the voting. Toastmaster Arun Kumar is 9 minutes 46 seconds. And that Mallikarjun is below 2 minutes, 1 minute 37 seconds. And except all of you qualified for the voting.
Thank you, Toastmaster Naufal. Next theme of the meeting again, brain damaging habits. The next habit, the 6th habit, wearing cap or socks while sleeping. When you wear the socks, it will overheat your feet so hot. And some compression socks move blood flow away from your feet and may block the blood flow when you are laying down. The last habit of blocking, stopping urine. Those people hold in their pee for a long period of time or hold their pee frequently. This habit could lead some long-term consequences like having an increased risk of bladder and urinary tract infection. The second, holding in your actually weakness the muscles of your bladder, which can cause to develop urinary retention as you get old. The third, the longer you hold your urine, the bladder can become a bleeding ground for bacteria to grow. This can lead to infection which can spread to kidneys and cause greater damage to the body. Now we are going the interesting section in the meeting, table topics. Before timer, can you explain the timing for the table topic?
The topic timing is 1 to 2 minutes, minimum 1 minute, maximum 2 minutes, and plus 30 seconds is a grace period. 1 minute I will show the green light, and 1.5 minutes I will show the yellow light, and 2 minutes I will show the red light until the speaker is finished.
I invite our table topic master, Toastmaster Ajit Devasi.
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
I have a few interesting topics. I think we have running out of time now, almost. So, I request to come forward. I will call one by one, and you will given a topic. You will get 30 seconds to think about that. Thereafter, as per the time rules, 1 to 2 minutes 30 seconds, you have to finish the speech. So I would request any guests to come forward first of all. Toastmaster session. Every topic master is looking at me and asking me. Thank you. Toastmaster Shashi, your topic is, when did you first realize that life is short? The topic is, when did you first realize that life is short?
I am the second of the 3 children born to my working parents. If you ask my parents, they would tell me that I am the most immature of them, because when I was 15, I used to play with toddlers, 2 years, 3 years. when I became 20, I was still playing with children. Now, the question is, today I realize at this age, the reason that I never wanted to grow up was the fact that I have already realized that life is too short for us to grow old. What do children teach us? Children teach us innocence. Children teach us there's nothing to fear, just go for it. And every moment that I have learned from children whom I have always made friends. And that is what my parents were always put up. Even today when I go to my village, I spend a lot of time playing with children. I walk like a child in front of my children. Sometimes they even forget that they are playing with their father. All this because life is too short. I would like to put it in the words of Helen Keller, who said, life's most beautiful and best things cannot be seen or heard. They have to be felt from the heart. My dear friends, don't kill the child anymore, because life is
Now, I would request Toastmaster Rajesh Kaur. Toastmaster Rajesh Kaur, your topic is, who is the strongest person you know? The topic is, who is the strongest person you know? Toastmaster training, beautiful master, and welcome guests. It's a very interesting topic. Who is the strongest person I have been, knowing till now? For me, the strongest person is, I have not met a single person, but there are the features, the characteristics of a person which makes a person strong. Like the one who has strong belief in himself or herself, the one who carries his aura or personality in a group of people that makes it different. Like you can see some leaders, which why we call them born leaders. What is the reason behind that? But it is the thought process. It is the character they build up over a period of time, which makes them strong. And such features, they take them to a long journey, and that makes them different from the others. And these features make some individuals very different. Like we can see some prominent personalities who have done very good in life. They excel in most of the fields, and so these are the features which makes a person strong. So this is how I feel. Thank you. Over to you. Now may I request our guest. Toastmaster Nasif, your topic is, other than money, what else have you gained from your current job? Your topic is, other than money, what else have you gained from your current job?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
First of all, pardon for being late. I was a bit busy. Anyway, coming to the point. So currently, I work as a production engineer. So when I came into the job, I didn't know how it would be because I was a fresher. I was working in a different part-time job while I was studying, but it is different. When I come to a full-time job, the entire system and the pressure, the work culture, everything is different. So initially, I was a bit, I was not confident enough. Whether I didn't know, like if someone has given me a task, I didn't know I would be able to finish, or I would be able to make my boss happy. So eventually we have to make our bosses happy. You know? When they are happy, maybe as he was mentioning that money, we might get more money, and yeah, so eventually the whole circle is that, and we have to come and point to this thing, money, whatever. Okay, so this the confidence in me, it has developed, and also with the good management I got much freedom, and with the freedom I could be able to, you know, travel places whenever I want, because it was a kind of work we have to put much pressure, and when we have to take some leave, all that, those things, we could take the time of ourselves, with ourselves, and altogether it is the thing I could measure myself, and always I try to run behind me. I try to understand me how I was and how I am now, and how I will be tomorrow. So in this case, have come to here, and maybe future I'll be here. Thank you.
You can have one more.
Toastmaster Sobin Hussain. Your topic is there ever a time when giving up makes sense? Is there ever a time when giving up makes sense?
Toastmasters of the day, Toastmasters. Yes. Is there a time? Sorry, is there a?
Is there ever a time when giving up?
Yeah. Is there ever a time when giving up makes sense? Yes. There are many times, especially when you live with your wife. There are many times when you live with your spouse, you have to give up. Especially when you go for shopping, you have to give up. And when you spend your time with them, you have to give up. So, when I was a bachelor, I was thinking, okay, what when my brother was saying, okay, you have to be patient with your spouse. Never thought that. But when I got married, I understood what is patience. How you can improve, and how you will give up your time. And this really makes sense when you feel that they are happy. At the end, giving up makes you happy. That's life.
I request Toastmaster Arun Nair. Please come.
Can only take one of
Toastmaster Arun Nair, your topic is what motivates you to go to work each day? Your topic is what motivates you to go to work each day?
For me, initially, one of the topic about money. In fact, the prime motivation is that money which motivates me to go to work every day. But that doesn't make us comfortable all the time. We need to find out some other aspirations also to make the work atmosphere light. So I will find each day, I will find out something, somewhere we may mess up with somebody, somewhere we may make more relations, or may create some other sort of
working atmosphere, it may be helpful to others also. Make the working atmosphere live. That motivates me to be there, and that motivates me to pursue in that growth. Thank you.
So, we have a diverse report.
Table topics time is Toastmasters Shashi, he taken 1 minute 46 seconds, and Toastmaster Rajesh Kaul, he taken 1 minute 28 seconds, and Toastmaster Nasif, he taken 2 minutes 6 seconds, and Toastmaster Saubin, he taken 1 minute 14 seconds, and Toastmaster Arun Nayak, he taken 53 seconds. So except Arun Nayak, both are qualified for voting.
Thank you everyone for participating. Just vote for the best thing. Voting.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Ajit Devasi and Naufal for your report. Now you can vote for the speakers and the topics.
But for the advanced speak, you speak it.
So by default, Rashid becomes the winner. So you can vote for evaluators and table topics.
Only the advanced speaker evaluators.
No. Evaluators as well as.
Now the next section, table topic evaluation. I invite Toastmasters Joe Thomas for the table topic evaluation.
Toastmasters, good evening, fellow members. Good evening once again. Good evening. It was a very wonderful session. I would like to congratulate our table topics master Ajit Devasi for presenting very even though the time mentioned in the agenda was 9 o'clock, he was called only at 9:25, so he was really short of time to present the topics. And I am giving you what is it called? That of doubt in legal
Benefit of doubt.
benefit of doubt because you missed to explain the purpose of table topic speech. Since we have so many guests, it's very important to make them understand what is table topics, because most of them, if they are attending for the first time, the table topics term itself, they might be hearing it for the first time. So any table topic speaker, it's always ideal to explain the purpose of table topic session. And today we had 5 speakers, and all of them have performed really well. The topics given were good topics. It was not too easy and not too tough. Anybody could speak 2 minutes with whatever topic is given. The topic selection was really good. And Mr. Toastmaster Shashi, he has done a wonderful performance. What I liked about the speech is he has encompassed all the aspects of a project speech. Whatever you could look for in a project speech, he has delivered all those things in that short time. It was a really good speech. Rajesh Kaul, you did not answer the exact point. He was asking for a person, but you mentioned about the qualities. So that particular point was
the key.
that was the key. When you talk about table topics, answer to the point. That's very important. And the second thing is putting hands in the pocket is not acceptable from a senior Toastmaster like you. So try to avoid that. Nasif, he has pointed out your first time in Toastmasters. Taking that into consideration, that was an exceptional performance. You did really good. Yes, he has definitely pointed out the benefits other than money, what his job offers him. Toastmasters serving being, you are a Toastmaster, isn't it?
I was.
So, it was a good speech. He has really expressed giving up, the importance of giving up. We all agree with him. There is no other go. And Arun Nair, again, he has picked up the point and given us the most important motivator for all of us to get up in the morning and go to work, and he has touched upon other points as well. Again, for Aji, one important point is the participation of the guest is purely voluntary. Don't call any guest on the stage, future also, by calling by name, because if they are not very confident in coming on stage on the first day, that is going to be their last Toastmaster meeting. So, try to call people, the senior members, who all are members, and give them chance as voluntarily. Invite them. If somebody wants to come, let them come. But don't, force them to come on the stage. And today, fortunately, we have good guests, so I don't think they mind. They will But please, back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster John Thomas, for the evaluation developers. Now we are going back to theme of meeting, brain damaging habits. I will again explain the 7 habits. The first, missing breakfast. 2, sleeping late. 3, high sugar consumption. 4, more sleeping, especially at the morning. 5th, eating meal while watching TV or computer. 6, wearing cap or socks while sleeping. 7, habit of blocking or stopping urine. Please keep away these habits in your life. Especially health is first and wealth is next. Thanks. Now we are going back to the reporting section. The first, I will call Toastmaster Sulfikar Ali for report of the bird Mussafah.
Good evening once again.
Good evening.
Coming to my first part of my session as a word master, here is my report. Toastmaster Hussein used the word of the day 1 time. Toastmaster Rashid used the word of the day 2 times. Toastmaster Arun used the word of the day 1 time. Coming to the second part of the session as a grammarian, I don't find any noticeable grammatical mistake in the speeches. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sulfikar Ali. The next report, act counter. Toastmaster Purandra.
Toastmaster, good evening, sir. Toastmaster guests, good evening again.
Good evening.
My report is an counter. Toastmaster Arman Kandan 3 times. Toastmaster Raj Palikare 2 times. Toastmaster Sulfikar Ali 2 times. Toastmaster Ali Devasi once 2 times. Toastmaster John Thomas 3 times. Toastmaster Rashid 4 times. And 2 times. Toastmaster Arun Balakrishnan once. Toastmaster Dinesh Kumar to the record today 8 times. Toastmaster Vijay 1 times 5 times. Toastmaster Malika Rajun, video director 8 times. Toastmaster Rajesh Kaul 5 times. And I should also mention, I think those who came with the clean record, Toastmaster Pio, no R, no R, and Toastmaster Vivek Ayapan, clean record, no R, no R.
Put back for the detailed report. The next, our Toastmaster. I'll call our Toastmaster Sanel.
Today, as part of the Toastmaster, I'd like to ask some questions to understand the listening skills. The first question, in Rashid's speech, the most valuable investment in life.
Travel.
And the next one is during the travel, Rashid is asked to enjoy the culture, but he asked to avoid one thing.
Actually,
Right? And during Arun Kumar's speech, yes. How many years has passed after coming to this planet actually?
41.
40%. 40%.
It's 45.
Actually,
Is the age.
It's 45 years. At what age Toastmaster Arun Kumar started taking cow's milk?
30.
And there are three main things you get free from cow's milk as per Toastmaster. It's a freely added to the cow's milk actually.
Vitamin D.
It is antibiotics, hormones and the pus cells. It's freely added to the cow's milk. And as per Toastmaster Arun Kumar, what is the replacement of cow's milk? One more.
Rice.
Yeah, rice.
So tomorrow morning in tea.
Coconut milk. But what is rice milk?
Rice milk.
Rice soup.
Milk gets actually fresh.
Can you?
And during the Vivek speech, he has mentioned about raw foodism and initiated in 1867 by whom?
Richard Bernard.
That's correct. And as per Vivek speech, there are four types of raw foodism.
Raw vegetarians, raw vegans, raw omnivorous, and raw carnivores.
That's about it.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sanel, for the wonderful section. The next, we are going the guest impression. I invite
Just share, if you have any comments, whether it's positive or negative, whatever you feel.
Yeah, obviously, I would say.
Please come to
Being a Toastmaster, previous Toastmaster, I would say it's always good to be here, and it was nice. And hopefully, I'll be continuing. It's good. Thank you.
Good evening. I feel very, very good, and I hope I can continue. It's really good because the first time when he called me, I was really nervous, but now I feel more confident that I feel like that.
You have something to add? You will definitely have something to add.
please explain yourself first.
Sorry. Yeah, I am Nasif, and I'm from Kerala. So I'm here for past 1.5 years. So, yeah. And I work here as a production engineer nearby Denmark. It's a future blast. Produce plastic bottles and cans. So basically, I came to know about Toastmasters from my friend some months back, and I was keep on searching about this. And last couple of weeks back, I called and then I decided to come today and see how it is going and how everything is, because I have no idea how it is going to be, and now I have some idea about this. Definitely, I'm planning to come back. And thank you.
Lot of energy in the members, comradeship, which I like in this club. But the most important thing that attracts me are the guests. And the participation of the guests is something which tells me to a club wherever I am. So I would thank all the guests with a line that we present our speeches not for us, it is for the guests, and then we want you to come and present as well, because the legacy of Toastmastership has to be handed over from our generation to the next generation, and that is the guest on the list.
Next section is presenting awards. I call our President Toastmaster Rajesh Palikari for the award. Also I invite our area director to present that.
That's for all. From now on. Without sugar. Without sugar.
Without sugar.
Without sugar.
Without milk. Without milk.
Today our best table topic must speaker.
Any guesses?
Any guesses?
Shashi.
We are also take the photos.
I normally do this in all the Toastmasters meeting because I am a seasoned Toastmaster for the past 5 years. I always appreciate guests when they come and speak. They are more powerful. And amongst the guests, I would like to share this with Nasib. Please could you come here? I'll tell you the reason also why I do this. The first time when I got the topic, I could not speak. Everybody from the audience was screaming at me, say this, say that, and finally somebody said, start singing your nursery rhymes, and I started singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, Jack and Jill went up there, all of them for next 2 minutes. So what you did today is something which I took a year to do. So all the best.
The next best evaluator. The best evaluator, Regine Mohammed. The best speaker, Rashid.
By default.
Second best evaluator.
Just wait for the photograph. I'm giving place.
Thank you, Director Mallikarjun and President Rajesh Palikari. The next section, report general evaluation. I invite Mr. John.
Good evening once again. Good evening. Meeting number 165 was, I personally consider that as a wonderful meeting. I think good participation. After a long gap, we are seeing so many faces today, especially 4 years.
No, we had the last meeting, during last meeting we had 6 guests.
I was not there.
Yeah, that makes a point.
And 4 guests is a good sign. So the meeting started a little late than the scheduled 8 o'clock. We started at 8:04. The room was well arranged. Agenda was distributed properly. I think Toastmaster Arun Manikandan He deserves a big round of applause. He opened the meeting and invited our President Toastmaster Rajesh Pallikare for the official opening. So Toastmaster Rajesh welcomes the area director of Toastmaster Malayalee, who is attending officially, even though he is a member of our club. So he has mentioned about the education session which is supposed to happen at 27. And Toastmaster Puran Rai, who is the latest competent communicator of Mussafah Toastmasters Club, was pinned his CC badge by area director Toastmaster Malayalee. Both of them. So, area director delivered a small speech. He has congratulated Mussafah Toastmasters Club for the Smedley Award achievement. He encouraged us to continue the same path of success. He has mentioned about education session and the data which is supposed to happen in Mussafah. Okay. So TME Toastmaster Arun Manikandan was invited by the President. So he has introduced the theme 7 brain damaging habits and started the meeting. So as first thing he has introduced the guests. As I said, there were 4 guests at today's meeting. So all of them were introduced. And Toastmaster Shashi has given an inspiring introduction, self-introduction, because I consider that as we have a project speech inspired your audience. Your speech was, I was
attend speech.
Yeah, and then that was a very good introduction. First of them, all the other guests introduced themselves. And the role players were introduced one by one. Timer was Toastmaster Naful, Accountant Puran Rai, Wordmaster Toastmaster Sulfikar, Toastmaster Sanal, Table Topics Ajit Devasi. Thought of the day was given by DDM P.O. Anthony. So he has taught us the value of time. So the takeaway from the thought of the day is invest your time in good purpose, and the return you get is going to be monumental. Thank you, Toastmaster P.O. for that wonderful talk. We had 3 project speeches. We got to hear 3 good speeches. All of them were experienced Toastmasters, and they met our expectations. So all of them were giving good speeches. I am not going to evaluate your speeches because already that role has been done by your evaluators. So we have 3 senior Toastmasters as evaluators, and they have also done their role really well. So they have mentioned about the objectives of the speech. They have pointed out the strong points and touched upon the weak points where improvement is required. So all the 3 evaluators, they have framed their evaluation on these 3 points. And one point I would like to remind all the evaluators is before the meeting actually starts, speak to the project speaker, try to understand what the speech is all about, note down the title of the speech. That is very important because you need to establish a communication before the meeting itself. Before the project is being delivered, the evaluator and the speaker has to establish a communication and understand speech title, objectives and all those things. That's very, very important. Unfortunately, Toastmaster Mallikarjun is not qualified, not acceptable, because you are a senior Toastmaster. So I'm not going to talk about the table topics master because the evaluation is already done by me. So thank you Toastmaster Ajit Devasi for picking up those good topics. And the reports were presented by all the role players. Toastmaster Sulfikar, if you look at the word of the day, there is a mistake. Anybody has noticed that?
Yes. 2 times it is done.
Yeah.
My example is 2 times.
Example 1 and example 4 are the same.
Yeah, maybe.
It's not maybe, it is.
Yeah, purposely did it.
The boys are different. Boys are different. He has two
So
sons.
try to avoid such silly mistakes. Toastmaster Puran Rai has done a wonderful job. He has presented a meticulous report. I'm really sorry to hear those numbers. I really feel sad because we are not improving. Senior Toastmasters is making 8 filler words, 10 filler words is not acceptable, including me. So, Sanal has picked up some wonderful questions. It was a good session. And we had all the guests, their impression. They all are supposed to be impressed with our meeting. Welcome to join our club. We all started like you. So, and we have benefited. Awards were presented by President Rajesh Paligari and Area Director. And not the last but not the least, Toastmaster Arun. He has conducted the session seamlessly, flawlessly. It was a beautiful role play. He has picked up a very good theme, very interesting. But you have filled up your theme everywhere. Because theme, ideally what you should do is you split it into 3. While introducing the theme, you say something, and before the project speech, a portion, before evaluation, a small portion, and before table topics. Just limit it at 3 or 4 points, rather than your theme was after every project you are presenting your theme. So try to avoid that. And because of that, what has happened is the time management was not proper. The table topics, master did not get enough time to present all the table topics. Other than that, it was a very good attempt. I think you have done exceedingly well. Overall, it was a good meeting, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster John Thomas, for the evaluation. Next, I call upon the PE for the next meeting.
Right.
Who the next project speakers?
Project
At last. Back.
Our next meeting will be on 6th.
Go for advance?
You have the advance?
No, not yet. I think I'm not able.
Better you get the book and then. Okay, 4 speakers. Mallikarjun now first, Arun Kumar and Vivek Iyer. And who will be the evaluators?
Can I be
Project.
No, the project already forward.
No, maybe somebody will speak. Everybody can take a seat. Today was the same thing happened. Last week did not happen.
Evaluator. Evaluator.
maybe Raj will deliver the speech in the next meeting?
Yeah. Ajay can evaluate speeches. Evaluation.
So what is the team?
General.
Team.
Finish. Team. General evaluator. Yeah.